Hello and welcome to another edition of the program Total Woman on AD4 TV Radio. My name is Mute Olori. The popular quote by John Adams says, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader." But is leadership really that simple? Joining us on the program today to help us examine what true leadership is no other than Ibiwari Loma Kemabota. Hey, good to have you on the show. All right, Uloma is an executive leadership and personal growth coach and a strategist, and also she's into tourism. And she's been doing quite a lot in this industry. So, Uloma, thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Is leadership that simple?
Mute, your question is like is leadership that simple? 5-word question, but not that simple to answer. I can actually say yes, and I say no as well. Yes, if you really understand the principles and all you need to know about leadership. No, when you think it's as easy as being in a position, I am a leader, all right? So it becomes no, the answer to that is no. It takes quite a conscious effort to realize that wherever you are as a person, at home, at work, in a community, you have the ability to lead people, but it requires you to build that skill. And it's not something you build today and you think that what worked for you today as a leader will work for you tomorrow. It's a dynamic thing. It changes over time. So you will need to be always at the forefront of learning how to become a better, progressive leader. So, leadership is not that simple, and it's also simple, but you have to know how the two things work.
Okay, people say women are natural nurturers, that we seem to, we're the one that manages the home, we're the front. Whatever the home is determined by the woman, and so you expect that women should be able to exercise these leadership skills that you talk about. But we also find that apart from the home, in other industry, it's very difficult to find women in that executive position. Why is it like that?
For me, I believe this begins with awareness. Yes, it's natural to say women should be natural leaders, but look around. A lot of people how many of those women, even if they are stay-home moms, they own their own businesses, they work, how many of them actually take conscious effort to say, I actually want to be a conscious leader? Not many, because they haven't quite understood that it begins with awareness. I want to take on this responsibility. And it's not just beyond, I want to lead my kids. It's a natural thing to nurture and guide your kids because they are words, do that, and this. But there are certain qualities you may lack that will not allow you, for example, guide them in the right ways. I'll give you an example. If you're a mom and you're thinking of, yes, you take care of your kids, you make sure they have the right disciplines from a younger age, brush your teeth, do this, do that, and all that, okay? At that level. Are you teaching them, when they become teenagers, how to begin to lead their pack themselves? Are you teaching them how to grow those leadership abilities to help them stand out in their own arena in life? When they pass that age, are you also consciously teaching them how to become that? So in respect, the question you asked about women are naturally nurturers, unless again you take the conscious effort to see yourself as that person who is ready to create influence, impact, where your children are, that if it's a home, or in your office, where your team, is, or in the community where your people you serve are, unless you begin to take that conscious effort and begin to think that and have that awareness that you can, it really doesn't come as a natural thing, because you're a nurturer, you're a leader.
So is that why now there's so much clamor for leadership coach? Because I believe if I have the urge or the excitement to want to lead, I could just go and learn myself. But is it possible to grow in that leadership without having a coach?
Oh, no, Mute. Please tell me one thing you have learned in life that you really did not have a coach and you learned about it. The reason is this, you know, the reason behind getting someone who has already walked the path, it makes it easier. Because they've walked the path, they've seen the potholes and the pitfalls. They're able to say, see, this direction, this thing you're thinking about, well, I'm not so sure. Well, this one, maybe. All right? So I have been an advocate for when I want to learn about something and really get good at it, I get a coach, I get a mentor. When I was young, teenage, I can't remember exactly how old I was. I always had cousins I looked up to, I wanted to be like. So whenever they come back from boarding schools, I'll just be at their, feet, asking them questions about the world I want to, embrace. So it begins from that informal level to the point where you get to, actually need a formal relationship with a coach who will, over time, coach me to be able to become the leader I want to become. See, if you're a woman and you haven't thought about being at the level where you're creating impact and building other leaders, truly, today is the day to start. And it doesn't matter at whatever level where you are. Home, work, business, community, it does not matter. All right, so now you can see a little bit of passion in me, because I am, when it comes to women in leadership, that's me. The reason is this: because we're more of the intuitive people, we're able to sense when things are not going right. And imagine when you are able to get people to begin to think of how to lead, what happens? The world changes for the better. Because
there's a natural instinct.
It is.
And then there's an acquired skill.
Yes.
So let's talk about the different styles of leadership.
Oh, that's an example.
Because someone will tell you, oh, this is mine. One step doesn't fit all. Yes. One method doesn't fit all. So if I know how to lead here, what about other aspects? So I'm sure that leadership is not just one form.
No. There are different kinds, and different people have, distinguished on the different kinds of leadership. There are leaders who are visionary leaders.
Okay.
They're able to see a vision and get people to follow them, to manifest that. They first of all communicate that vision and are able to get people who help them fulfill that vision. All right? There are others who, they just get into the space and just make things happen. Because they know where they want to have impact created. All right? So the thing is to be able to understand, again, I go back to awareness, which is about the individual. Where do you want to see yourself? What role do you want to see yourself playing in your sphere?
Yeah.
If you haven't answered that question, the topic about leadership will not come up. All right? I will give you an example about myself. I've always believed that there is something more about every individual that needs to be explored by that individual to get to the peak of what he or she can do as a human being. All right, until you get to that point where you begin to say, I want to be more, I want to add more value. All right, so that makes a difference.
Now, does the performance of the people you lead determine if you're a good leader or not? And that performance, how do you measure it?
Yes, Mute, I can say yes. How you measure it is rule of thumb. Let's assume you're a leader, you're a business owner, and you have people working for you. How many of your team members look forward to coming to work every day? How many of them? It's as simple as that. How many of them look forward to coming to work every day because they are where you are as a leader? You get that bit. Okay, so yes. The other way you can check the performance of whether you're leading rightly or not is when you're not there, can your team members pick up and get the work done even when you're not there? So which means you have empowered them enough for them, you have empowered them, you have sold the vision of what you want to lead them to, and they can do it whether you're there or not. So your performance of leadership is measured by how much you achieve in terms of bringing people that in your team with you, and in terms of how far they can push your vision when you're not there.
Okay, leadership is not that simple.
No, no, it's not.
It's not that simple anymore,
No.
but it is possible.
Yes.
All right, so we'll take a short break. I'll be talking with Ibiwari, and we've been looking at redefining leadership strategies. If you're not getting it right, then you need to check what is wrong, or how do I get it right? Is it that I don't have enough information? When we come back, we'll be looking at the characteristics of a leader. Don't go away.
I am a total woman.
All right, you're welcome. It's a Total Woman on 84 TV Radio, and my guest Ibiwari is still in the house. Now, we talked about the different styles of leadership: visionary, instinctive. What is that one thing, one characteristics you think, no matter the kind of style you're using as a leader, that you must possess?
Mute. You know, the question seems very easy, but if I were to choose as a person, of all the characteristics, as I'm thinking about it, what would be the major one? I think it would be compassion. And the reason I'm saying that, when you have compassion as a leader, you're able to understand people around you. You know that they are different. You know that they have different characteristics. You know they have different things, behind them, driving them. So it allows you to be able to treat people beyond what their physical appearances are, or what the unknown circumstances they bring before you is pushing them to do. So you go beyond the physical thing you're looking at to realize that this person has something in them that you can help shine for them to become better. So compassion helps you do that. So you look beyond the failings, you look beyond the faults, all right, and then still pull out the brilliance in your team member because you know they've got it.
One question, one thing that I realized that a lot of people have a misconception or misunderstanding is the word leadership and delegation. They go together. If I know how to delegate responsibility, does that make me a leader?
Yes, it's one of the things you have to do as a leader. Otherwise, it means you have to do everything yourself, and you can't. Your job as a leader is to replicate other leaders. And to be able to replicate other leaders, you must understand the art of delegation. So delegating, first of all, for that to happen means that whoever you're delegating to must have understood your vision. So you would have to have sold the vision so they get it.
Bring it to our country, Nigeria.
Ah, okay. In what aspect?
Governance.
Basically. Leadership in a country and also in Nigeria needs to understand that as a leader, your role is to provide the platform and opportunity for your people to thrive. Whatever it takes to do that, you do that. If it's capacity building, you do that. If you build capacity, for example, in your people, all right, it will be easy for you to delegate and say, we want this developed for the country. And they are able to do it because you build the capacity for them to do that. And they will return the results you have as a leader of a nation, and all works for the best. I'll give you an example. Well, I wish I didn't have to talk about it, but Dubai is an example we all know. All right? I know we haven't got to the point where we're going to talk about tourism, but I work in tourism, and I deal with my counterparts and partners in Dubai. When we hear them tell their story about Dubai and its tourism, the leader had a vision of how to turn that country into a space, a melting pot for all nationalities. And he required different people to do that. And capacities were built in the different areas. He's not doing it himself as the leader. He's just providing the capacity, the infrastructure, including security and everything else for it to happen. And he's not interfering. He's not saying, I want this person there. He's asking who can do this amongst the people that whose capacities have been built. And that's the way it works. It's a chain thing, it's a collective thing. So yes, as a leader, wherever you are, your job will be to create the vision, get the people into that vision, and empower them to begin to realize that vision. And of course, the vision changes and you keep growing until you get to where you want to get to.
What's the biggest challenge facing our leaders from achieving or for having a vision, or they have a vision from achieving those vision or from carrying us along to say, even as a country, what's our goal? What is that vision we have as a nation?
I will go back to my primary responsibility as a mother, right? And I'm going to ask, I will assume I'm a leader. A leader of a nation is like a mother. Where would you want your kids to be? What would you want to see your family to become? It starts with the dream. When you ask me, what is the problem? Why haven't we achieved? What is the dream for the nation? If I ask you as a Nigerian, can you explain that as a citizen? I'm not sure, and I can't myself. I don't know what the dream is. So when you are able to communicate the dream of the people or the nation you're leading and get people to buy into the dream, it becomes a shared vision. So the first thing is to define the dream. Where do we want to go to? I don't know.
Nigeria is 60. And if we don't really know where we're going to, it's a big problem. But how do you think as leaders we should begin to solve this problem?
Sow the
what
seeds.
Are the traits?
What are the
things we need to develop?
Sow the seeds for the dream. Let every different aspects of society catch it. Now, this doesn't take away the silos or the states or the people that are doing fabulous and fantastic things, but it's not a shared dream. That's the thing. We need to bring it as a collective thing. So when we're talking about Nigeria, in every aspect, if you're in the east, the north, the south, we have one collecting thing and vision we're talking about. So bring it home. So everybody take part of yours and begin to do the things you're doing, so it becomes a collective and shared dream. So from primary school to secondary school to university to everywhere is a shared dream. So everybody begins to develop in their own aspect what we get into this shared dream. All right? That's where to begin. Until we do that, Mute, is going to be it will be individuals trying to survive in the country, which is going on right now. So, but we need a collective dream.
And with women,
yes,
what should we begin to do? How do we plug in?
Yes.
What recommendation will you give as women that, okay, this is what we should begin to do? Because like you use the analogy as being a woman. Of course, we call Nigeria a woman. So what do we as women begin to do? How do we plug in? What recommendation would you give? What do we need to do?
First thing, and this comes pretty easy. As a woman, the first thing you need to do, have the courage to say, I can be more. You must have the courage to say, I can be more. Why? Because of where we come from, there are certain things we have grown up with as women. And unconsciously, they restrict us from blooming. So we need to have the courage. I'm not talking about trying to say, well, I'm a woman, I will not, it's not the extreme of, I'm a woman, I don't have to listen to a man. No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about
the feminism
no,
is all
it's
about.
I'm not, it's not the feminism thing, it's the human agency thing, where you as a woman realize that you can be more, and you have the courage to tell yourself, yes, I can be more, right? Then you begin to create conscious steps to realize being more. And then you get a coach, get the knowledge, build capacity to becoming more. When you build capacity to become more, speak about you becoming more, because you now become the role model for the young girls, the young boys, and the nation. Those are the steps.
We need to go back to the drawing table and start from there.
Need to do
well, Ibuari, before I let you go, there's something I've noticed about a lot of leaders. They find it difficult to take criticism, which is something that we realize is happening in our country. There's so many things in recent time, increase in one thing or the other, taxation and all that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are criticizing the government, and there's this reaction that comes from them. How do you think a leader should actually take criticism?
Now, if I were to answer the other question, which other characteristics would I suggest a leader should have? That's humility. The virtue of humility will help leaders understand and feel the pulse of the people. Because think about it. When they are criticized as a leader, when there is a dissenting voice, sit back. Be humble enough to sit back and check it out. There may be some truth in it. And it may save you hundreds of dollars. Because if somebody is talking about, for example, let's take the construction industry, where people just put together buildings and people talk about it and nothing gets done. Buildings collapse and lives are lost. All right? So if people begin to talk about it, there's the usual thing, there's no smoke without fire, right? There's no fire without smoke, or something like that, whichever one it is.
There's no smoke without the fire.
So when the criticisms come, sit back as a leader. Analyze. Check out, is there really something about it? Maybe there may be something. If there is, take it. Be humble enough to admit that that was a mistake. That is how you build the trust factor in your people. One of the indices of a state that succeeds, when I say state, I'm talking about a nation, is when you create social trust. When you don't have social trust from the citizens, you're not a leader. So you should learn, humility will help you build that social trust. When you make a mistake, you admit the mistake, explain the mistake, and also explain what you intend to do to correct it. If it's not a mistake, you still owe it to the people to explain, no, this was actually the intention. It wasn't actually a mistake. You know, dialogue and communication with your people is essential as a leader. I mean, there's no way you can't be a leader and you're not talking to your people. You need to consistently talk with your people. That is how the dream is shared, and that is how the dream is realized.
I pray that we really get there and
Me
get
too.
things right.
Me too.
What's your final message for Nigerians as we celebrate 60 years this year?
Nigerians, there's always one more step to take. I am the one more step person. There's always one more step to take. So look for that one more step wherever you are, whatever you do, to make it a better experience for you, your home, your community, and Nigeria as a whole.
And from us, Total Woman is there is still hope, and you are the hope for this nation. Let's play our role, but first of all, have a dream. We need to go back to the table to say, what do we really want for Nigeria? What is our vision? We'll keep reciting the labor of our heroes past will not be in vain. What is that labor? Can we go back to the table and restructure what we want now for Nigeria? It is possible, and that's where leadership comes in. I'll be with you again next week. My name is Muti Olori. God bless you.